Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to the Mindfulness Daily Practice. Hello, Rachel. Hi, Suzanne. Hello, Jean. Hi, Robin. Hi, Dirk. Hello, Dee. Hi, Bernie. Hi, Patricia. Hello, Holly Grimes, who shares my surname. Nice to see you. Hi, Kate. Hi, Sue. Hi, Kathy. Hello, John. Yeah, that's right. Maybe that's why. Is that why you came in today? So you just kind of stumbled upon this Insight Timer teacher who shares your surname. Greetings, Diane. Hello, Tina. All right. This is a series about bringing mindfulness into daily life. So that's what we've been working on. So how things have kind of evolved. I'm kind of teaching this similar to how the journey of MBSR goes. So we spend some time doing body scan. We do the body scan every day for a while. We incorporate a bit later mindful movement. So body scan helps to teach us how to bring awareness into physical sensations in the body in the present moment. We begin to move that into mindful movement because we are moving around a lot throughout our day. And then throughout our day, as we move around, can we start to figure out ways to bring mindfulness into daily life so that we start to have a bit more seamless integration of this practice. So instead of this practice just being what I call dedicated practice, meaning we set aside time to be mindful specifically to practice mindfulness, can we also have some integrated practice? So we begin to integrate mindfulness into our daily lives. And so, there are some like little micro practice things that we can do, small things like the 3 breaths to recenter. That's one of the tracks I have here on Insight Timer. That's a way to, in the moment, you notice that things are off, a couple ways to come back into the present. And also to remind yourself, what was it that I'm doing? What's important now? So the first breath is to relax. So take the first breath to relax a little bit. So as best you can, see if the body will relax. Second breath to really pay attention to what's going on in the body. Maybe to figure out what's happening, what emotion am I feeling. And then the third breath, ask that question, what's important right now? What am I supposed to be focusing on? So a lot of times we'll go into anxious thoughts, but this is not necessarily what we're supposed to be doing at that point. So, realizing instead of having this time of set aside, maybe I should say additionally, in addition to having time set aside to be mindful, we can start to find other ways to bring mindfulness into daily life and start to see the power of letting go of some of this constant mind wandering that we go through. This addiction that we all have to thinking all the time. So, and I think mindfulness practice is one of those ways to see, if you think that you're not thinking, then try some mindfulness practice. Sit and focus on your breath. How long can you focus on your breath before your mind starts thinking about other things? If you're anything like me, it's not a very long period of time. Doesn't matter though, because that's why we call it practice. It's practice. Practicing, learning how to do this. And as we practice, it becomes easier and more natural to start to bring it into everyday life. And that's really where mindfulness practice shines. So you start to see in these moments that you don't have to be carried away by thought. And so yesterday I started to share this little story about me, my aha moment. And just wanted to share a little bit more detail with you today about that. So my aha moment was this moment where I realized that my mindfulness practice is working. It's having some effect on my daily life. And I think before this, was quite a meditation skeptic. I had tried MBSR just as maybe a last hope in that I could be more patient. And I think the trigger for me to take mindfulness-based stress reduction was that I started to see my own negative emotions that were, sometimes, not so pleasant to see showing up in my kids, right? So my kids, they're young kids at the time, starting to mirror my behaviors, and I thought, if I would like to do something about this. Is it possible for me? What's the way is there any way for me to get more patience? Is there any way for me to have a little bit more control of my emotions instead of my emotions controlling me all the time? And so the aha moment was, I was driving, I had my kids in the car, I was taking my kids to gymnastics class, in fact. And there's a road in Hong Kong that I know this road. It's a right turn, and if you're in the U.S., it's like the left turns are more difficult. You have to cross traffic. So if you drive on the left-hand side, the right turns are the more annoying turns. And so I had a right turn to go up to their gymnastics class, and there was a traffic jam on that road. And I remember I was already a bit late, and watching that traffic light cycle from green to red, back to green to red, several times, and feeling that frustration and starting to feel angry, and starting to, and this is where my mindfulness practice started to kick in. I started to feel all of those symptoms of anger. I could feel myself gripping the steering wheel more tightly. I could feel my face changing. I could feel my breath becoming more shallow. And as I noticed that, that's it. That's the only thing that needs to happen, is that I noticed that happened. I noticed that this change was occurring. And that allowed me to start asking myself the question, well, what's really going on here right now? What am I upset about exactly? And what are the consequences of my being late to gymnastics class, to my kids' gymnastics class? And as I went through it and thought through it rationally, I realized that, in fact, it's not a big deal. If I'm 5 minutes late, if I'm 10 minutes late to my kids' gymnastics class, it's not the end of the world. And no one, what maybe I lose some value, like I pay for those classes, maybe it's like $5 worth of lessons that I'm missing. So trying to put it in realistic terms. And then later, I think maybe more than a year later, as I went back and analyzed that, I realized that what was really going on was something about my identity. I am a punctual person. I am on time to things, right? And that's and that was a black and white kind of thing for me. That there is no, that occurs no matter what. It doesn't matter if I'm going to a job interview or I'm going to my kids' gymnastics class, that this was something that was inside of me. And it's still there. It's not like it's gone, but I have some more ability to look at that with rationality. And instead of automatically getting angry anytime that I'm going to be late somewhere, to go, oh, okay, I can assess this. I can, and by the way, even if you're late, you don't have to get angry. This is another kind of fun thing that I teach with walking meditation. That you can be in a rush and you can be as calm as you're walking in the park, because the situation is whatever it is. Is it, if you're on the train going somewhere, for example, or you're in traffic, there's nothing you can do to get you there any faster. You're already doing the best you can to get there. So why are you so stressed out? So this is my aha moment. And you too, as you practice more, can start to experience these moments where you start to interrupt that, what we talked about yesterday. Stimulus and response are like this. Your whatever it is that's happening, whatever it is that's driving you to do something, it just instantly drives you to do that. And with a little bit of mindfulness, with practicing paying attention in the moment, you can start to begin to separate, and you can start to have that moment where you focus, you feel your body, you focus on once you recognize that some strong emotion's there, you can focus on your breath for a moment and ask yourself, well, what's really going on here? What is important right now? So welcome everybody. We're going to get into practice shortly. It's funny, the topic today is called Touchpoints. It's a way to bring mindfulness more into daily life, but as we're already into our time that we're supposed to be meditating, we'll go ahead and get into our meditation, and then I'll talk about touch points as we close. So let's go ahead and get comfortable. So sit in any way that's comfortable for you. So I like this posture because of how it locks me in stillness. I'm going to roll my shoulders a few times, my head, just to try and be a little bit more relaxed in my shoulders and neck. And before we get started into our main part of practice, let's take 3 deep breaths together. So to aid in relaxation, as it is nice it can be helpful to be a bit more relaxed as we sit here and do our practice. So I'll count to 3, and then we'll do 1 deep inhale together and 1 exhale. So 1, 2, 3. And exhale. One, 2, 3, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And now let go of control of your breath. Just breathe naturally. Let your body do the breathing. Let your body be in control. And you're just the observer. You're passively watching your body as it breathes. So where do you feel the breath today? And so your body is giving you signs, letting you know that you're breathing. How do you know that you're breathing? So scan through your body, find these symptoms, these signs, these indicators that you are breathing. Where are they? And if you happen to be having trouble finding your breath today, one thing that you can do that can help is to place your left hand on your belly, your right hand on your chest. So this can aid you in observing the expansion and the contraction of the body. And already I've noticed my mind wandering into the future, thinking about other things I have to do today. So as I notice that, just release those thoughts as I come back to focus 100% of my attention on this feeling of breath, this feeling of expanding and contracting over and over again, each breath slightly different than the one that preceded it. And I know some of you have said, as we did mindful movement, that that's easier for you, that your mind can more easily be locked into the body as you're moving around. And I know that. I can relate to that too. And maybe this is one of the reasons why we practice seated meditation. Because the mind does wander so often. And so can you, instead of being angry at yourself, being upset about the mind wandering, roll out the red carpet, welcome your monkey mind, welcome this wandering mind. Because this is the way it is. This is how you can observe how your mind works. This is one of the reasons why I choose sitting practice, is because the goal of the practice is not to stop the mind wandering. It is instead to be aware of it. And when it does happen, remember, we are here trying our best to stay focused on the breath. So come back. Come back to the breath. Come back to this observation of breathing, of the present. There we go. I've just caught myself fantasizing about something. So, all right, letting go of that. Coming back to reality. Coming back to this moment. Coming back to my breath. And even this word, caught yourself, caught myself. Is there any negative connotation to that? See if you can let go of that negativity. We're not slapping ourselves on the hand. We're not furrowing our brow and saying, what a bad me. We're gently taking ourselves by the hand, smiling to ourselves, escorting ourselves gently and happily back to the breath, back to the present. Even if something in your environment disturbs you, brings your attention away, find your attention caught by something out here, out away. Recognizing this intention to stay focused on the breath, letting go of that distraction, whatever it is, whatever it was, coming back to the breath. Now's the time for us to bring our period of dedicated practice to its close. So well done. Maybe take a moment to congratulate yourself for having made it through today's practice. And I'll close practice with 3 rings of the bell. Okay, thank you. Thank you everyone for sharing this period of dedicated practice with all of us. So, I guess 2 things. One, how did your practice go today? And as I'm waiting for some of that to come in, I'll share today's challenge. So those of you who have been with me for a long time know that I used to issue homework every single day. So it's kind of hard for me to come up with new homework all the time. But anyway, today's one of the days that has homework. The homework is called the Touchpoints. So one way to help you bring mindfulness into your daily life is to set some kind of trigger that when you hit this trigger, it causes you to drop into present moment awareness. So it could be like, well, I'll just, the one that I like to give is touching a doorknob, because we do walk through doors a lot in our day. So each time you're walking through a door, can you, as you touch your doorknob or touch the doorknob, or you push on the door to open it if you're going into a public restroom, can you bring your full attention to the surface of your hand? So can you feel exactly where your hand is in contact with that doorknob or on the door? And so this is the idea. So hopefully by planting this idea in your mind, it will give you something to think about today, something to not think about today, something to focus on today. If if this suggestion happens to work, and you can, instead of, at least use that moment to drop back into present moment awareness. So see if it works. It can be, you can use other kinds of touch points as well, but the idea is to have something that you do regularly in your day that can drop you into present moment awareness. So, I think there was one for search inside yourself, this, Google, the mindfulness-based emotional intelligence leadership program developed at Google, that when you enter the meeting room, you sit in the chair, for you to feel the fabric of the chair, and for you to use that as a touch point to remind yourself, like, what's my highest intention? Like, what am I really trying to get out of this meeting? Because sometimes we get lost when we're in meetings. We kind of forget what we're supposed to be doing. So use that as that touch point to see if it can help to bring you back into the present. So my challenge for you today is the doorknobs. One of the reasons I like doors is because doors a transition. It's a transition. I'm in this room and now I'm moving into this room. I have some reason that I'm doing that, right? And so, that's another thing, from sitting to standing, from sitting to lying, from lying to standing. You can notice yourself as you go through all of these transitions. What happens? How do you change as you go through transitions? So see if it works. Come back tomorrow. Let me know, how did your your Touchpoints practice work. So this is just one step. So we've been sitting, doing our sitting, dedicated meditation. Can we start to bring mindfulness into daily life by integrating it? So maybe one way to integrate it is by checking touch points. Every time I touch the doorknob, I remember to feel the sensation of the door on my hand. Okay, time for me to just check the chat here quickly before I go. And so Jean shared it before we got started. Those aha moments keep coming with practice. Thanks for sharing, Jean. I think that's really great encouragement for everyone who's here. So they will keep coming. And you're not going to be perfect. So please let go of that perfection. Just take whatever gains that you're getting. Great to have you back, Iga. Kate shares lots of gentle mind wandering, but was able to keep coming back to the breath. Well done. Congratulations. Thank you, Dee. Kate shares, sipped my coffee mindfully. This is a one other way to do it. Dropping into the present by noticing the smell, the touch of the coffee cup to the lips, the taste as you pour the coffee into your mouth. The feeling of the cup on your fingertips. Thanks for sharing. Thanks, Sybil. Jean shares, I had a few external factors distract me as we began, and then I noticed myself thinking about what I could have done to not have the distraction. Then I noticed myself thinking about noticing, and then I came back to the breath. Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing that. I love this kind of detail because this describes a lot about what, I personally can relate to that. And this is a lot about what my meditations are like. Thank you, Jean. Yes, good luck, Rachel. Let's just try your best. And this is the other thing too. Notice yourself judging, like, oh, I walked through that doorway and I forgot to pay attention to my hand. You can also notice that. So, and learn about yourself. How hard are you on yourself? You might be able to see that today as we do this. Barbara shares, from a prior homework assignment, I still use setting my house alarm and waiting a few seconds for the alarm to set, to breathe in and remember. Thank you, Barbara. And Rachel says, I had a pause yesterday between incident and response. I was really tickled for noticing it, and I did change my response. Amazing. All right, keep it up. Okay, I'd love to keep going here in the chat, but it is that time of morning that everybody's got to get ready to get out of the house. So I'll just read. There's some more chat coming in. My homework, Iga says, my homework will have to be material. Just realize I don't use door handles much except when locking or opening the front door. Yeah, exactly. And this is it too. Choose one that's going to work for you. I think I do transition in and out of places and doors and anyway. All right. Let's do it. Time for well wishes. So send some well wishes to yourself. Incline your mind towards kindness to yourself. And then we'll share our kindness with each other here on this meditation here today. And then share our kindness with the world. So follow along if you like. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone here today, all of you watching, listening, wherever you are, whatever time it is, I wish you all happiness and peace. And may all of humanity, all human beings around the world, I wish us all happiness and peace. Thank you, everyone. Tomorrow I'll be back chatting about, the next challenge. So all the best. Hope to see you tomorrow. Tell me how the challenge went. Tell us how the challenge went. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.